everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and I am back with Under the Thorns. Now, we left off, the last chapter was pretty short, and I'm anticipating that this chapter will give us more details about what exactly is happening, so let's just jump into it. I'm very excited about it. With the spring ball approaching like a vibrant butterfly, the manor hummed with the arrival of the musicians. Every day their melodies had woven them into the very fabric of our lives, and as they graced us with their final rehearsals, smiles blossomed on every face. Some, entranced by the music's spell, succumbed to its lullaby, murmuring dreamlike whispers as they closed their eyes. Wouldn't it be just heavenly to see a dashing gentleman in a moonlit waltz? I'd give anything to lose myself in a melody, my hand in a warm grip, feeling the world melt away with every step. Though I harbored no such delusions myself, I grasped the seductive power of a dashing young gentleman in a well-tailored waistcoat. After all, the townhouse balls of yore, those glittering mirages spun from tulle and candlelight, had etched that truth onto my heart. A playground for dreams they were, yet a cage nonetheless, their splendor masking the cold bars of social hierarchy. Alice, bless her for trying, sought to temper their expectations without extinguishing the spark of anticipation entirely. Miss Quiller mumbled something about us amusing ourselves later. Hence the distinct lack of sparkle in Alice's voice. As her pronouncement punctured their bubble of dreams, the younger servants responded with a flurry of hand claps and disapproving blinks, the playful gesture failing to mask the dampened smiles and downcast eyes. That is not enough. Just think, a gown that shimmers like starlight, lost in a waltz with a gentleman whose eyes hold untold promises. Wouldn't that be everyone's dream, Clara? Huh? Me? No, not my scene. But surely, with your closeness to the Lord, a waltz with him would be nice. The newly arrived servants seemed to labor under the curious misapprehension that I enjoyed some degree of intimacy with the lord of the manor. I offered a wry smile, the absurdity of the situation painting my lips with amusement. In truth, there was nothing between Edward and me beyond a unilateral concern that, I confess, often spilled over into some meddlesome anxiety. My offers of assistance invariably refused, had somehow blossomed into a local misunderstanding. Thankfully, Alice intervened with a voice that brooked no dissent. Certain things are better left undisturbed. Now, get back to work. All right, really leaving. Clara, there's still quite a bit left to clean in the mausoleum, isn't there? Yes, I suppose I should get back to it then. Just don't stay out too late. Alice pivoted away, her silence now worlds apart from her previous pronouncements on the perils of my proximity to Edward. A quiet thank you slipped from my lips before I rose, gathering my cleaning supplies with newfound purpose. Behind me, a soft sigh ruffled the air, followed by the whisper of her fingers against her hair. As I distanced myself from the hum of the servants' quarters and stepped into the sun-dappled embrace of the courtyard, a new song, light as a butterfly's kiss, alighted upon the familiar tune. Somewhere nearby, a lone violinist spun silken threads of melody, painting the air with unseen colors. Like a child entranced by the Pied Piper's flute, I felt my steps quicken, drawn inexorably towards the source of this captivating magic. Who is this? My heart jolted as I rounded the corner, the sight of a figure in white and blue sending a spark of recognition through me. It's Edward. How fun. An eternity seemed to have stretched between our last encounter, and as I stood there, watching him, it felt as if an unseen thread drew his consciousness towards mine. Lids heavy with reverie, his eyes fluttered open, their familiar blue meeting mine.
Konnichiwa, Clara.
Hello, Edward. His words, devoid of inflection, echoed hollowly in my ears, yet a smile, a reflex born of habit or some hidden hope, bloomed on my lips. You know how to play the violin?
うん、 小さい頃からね。
Have fun. Would you be playing it at the New Year's party?
いや、ただ思い出して演奏してただけだよ。
Nice. When the final note drifted away, Edward stowed the violin. On a whim, I lifted the broom, hoping its humble form wouldn't shatter the fragile connection. I just happened to be heading to clean the mausoleum. Yeah.
後で行った方がいいと思うよ。
I can. Why?
墓の方で演奏の練習中なんだ。
I see. Oh. Their dedication bordered on the fantastical, practicing all morning without a shift in their positions. With sunset their only respite, I felt a weary acceptance settle in. A nod confirmed my intention to retreat, but before I could turn, Edward's hand reached out.
時間があるついでにちょっと話さない？
Ooh. Caught off guard by the unexpected shift in his demeanor, I faltered, my mind scrambling to reconcile his abrupt friendliness. He placed the cleaning tool beside the violin, its mundane form stark against the polished wood, and extended a hand, gesturing towards a destination unknown. Where are we going? Reaching a window that framed the courtyard in a verdant tableau, we paused, the silence stretched thin between us. My fingers fluttered against the worn fabric of my skirt, buying me a few precious moments to marshal my thoughts. Do you feel like sharing a chat today, Edward? Your thoughts seem quiet.
いつかはそう言って歩かなかったのに。
Last time felt a bit tangled. I worry I pushed too hard.
不快なことではなかった。ただ複雑だった。
What does this mean, Edward? His stoic calm suggested a storm weathered and an equilibrium restored. His eyes, drawn to the manor house, were veiled with a soft melancholy.
クララ、僕は邸宅の主になったのだから、ここに満足しながら生きていこうと思う。
Okay, so you're taking responsibility for your position in life. Okay, makes sense. Edward's voice, laced with a peculiar resolve, drifted from the window as he observed the scene below. Musicians and servants, the hive of activity preparing the manor, danced under his unwavering gaze. The dissonance between the lively scene and the intensity in his eyes triggered a disquiet in me. A disquiet I masked with a strained smile. I see your mind is settled then.
だから君に言いたいことがあるんだ。
Uh-huh. What is it? His eyes, briefly searching mine, retreated into the distant landscape of his mind. He battled an unseen dill with a final shake of his head, a silent decree.
今ではなく、いつか話すよ。
Okay. I mean, I feel like we could know now, but... You are pushing things to the future again.
僕の持病だよ。
He slumped by the window, his silence dividing us like a tangible curtain. The music snaked through its folds. The air thickened with the uncomfortable silence, pressing down on me as I wrestled with the urge to break it. So, the ball. It's coming up soon, isn't it? I can't wait to see the manor all decked out.
そうだね。もう残りわずかだよ。
Well, with you at the helm, this ball will be truly magical. The folly of my pronouncement hit me like a rogue wave, its echo a cruel mirror to the very gossip I had disdained. How foolish am I? Shame painted my cheeks as I clamped my tongue and squeezed my eyes shut, longing for the earth to swallow me whole. No, that wasn't... I didn't...
ねえ、僕と踊らない？
Would I? Sure, kind of random, but I love it. My brain, jolted like a startled deer, sputtered to a standstill. His unexpected proposal hung in the air. His slow, deliberate approach towards me amplified the silence, each measured step an echo with a frantic hammering in my chest.
舞踏会も大したことないよ。知り合い同士で踊って騒ぐだけだ。
It's like what the servants were saying earlier about her dancing with Edward. How cute. That's what makes it great. A curious smile bloomed on Edward's lips as he tilted his head. His hand hovered in the space between us. An invitation.
さあ、レディ、一曲踊りませんか？
Hell yeah, okay. Sure. My hand, an offering surrendered in the heat of the moment, met Edward's in a warm clasp. With a gentle tug, he drew me closer, his lips brushing my ear as he whispered.
クララ、僕の足を踏んでもいいよ。
Okay. Trust your instincts with the music. Oh, cute, look at them. This is so random, but I love it. Look how cute they are.
だから、ゆっくり僕についてきて。
Okay, I love that. Oh, the sunlight is so perfect here. Drawn by the irresistible tug of his eyes, I couldn't tear my gaze as Edward closed the distance between us. Bathed in warm sunlight, the empty corridor became our secret dance floor, waiting for our first twirl of a stolen waltz. Glimmers crowned his hair. Sparks danced in his eyes, with every step we jointly took. Lost in the whirl of our impromptu waltz, we shattered the sunbeams into a labradorescence of blinding light. Stolen steps, stolen glances. This fairy tale spun itself right before our eyes, a dream born in stolen moments. With each misstep, a light stumble against his foot, I stumbled into another rhythm. My smile blooming despite the clumsiness. This was an unheard of dance, a shared secret woven into the fabric of an ordinary hallway. 2, 3 turns across the sun-dappled floor, and then the music stopped. We stood apart, a hesitant silence hovering between us. I smoothed my rumpled dress, taking a step back to gauge his reaction, his eyes mirroring my uncertain smile. He was reading me, searching for the echo of this unexpected waltz in my expression.
どうだった？
How did you find the waltz? That sounds pretty nice. Sounded pretty good. The pulse of his hand against mine sent my own heart into a hummingbird frenzy. Yet with each dizzying turn, a blush bloomed across my cheeks like a forbidden secret. It didn't matter if I loved the waltz or stumbled through it. The urge to flee, to hide this newfound joy in the solitude of my own thoughts grew with every beat. Thank you for the dance. I, need to go do that thing. You know, that thing that I definitely have to do.
クララ、
My God, oh my God, Clara, no. I, unable to bear the heat of his amused gaze, bolted like a startled rabbit. Edward's surprised call echoed behind me, but I couldn't dare turn back. Okay, she ran away. That's kind of funny. They'll figure it out later, I'm sure. Edward's gracious moves remained echoed in my mind for the rest of the day, but the glint of metal from those abandoned tools nestled innocently beside the violin was a far less welcome reminder. Dawn and Olivia's volcanic tongue were mere hours away. With a clenched jaw, I tiptoed into the darkness, determined to avoid the eruption before the sun rose. Stupid, you stupid. Crushing on Edward could wait. My heart drummed against my ribs as I scanned the darkness, searching for any sign of Olivia's hooded figure. The absence was eerie, but a blessing. All right, back to your rightful place. I snatched the cleaning tools, their metal cold against my skin, and jumped back against the wall as a rustle pierced the silence from within the mausoleum. Olivia or Edward, and neither was an encounter I craved. With a gulp, I decided to peek and flee. Peering cautiously through the doorway, I was relieved to find Edward standing beneath the pale moonlight. Unlike previous visits, he cradled a small potted plant, its verdant life defying the stillness of the graveyard. His gaze fixed on the weathered headstone spoke of a personal connection I could only observe.
君 急に逃げたんですよ。負担だったのかな。
Okay, it seems like he's talking about earlier when Clara ran away. Oh, his laughter, light and airy, with a gentle breeze against my suddenly sunburnt cheeks. His friendly retelling of the incident, each detail chipping away at my composure, had me biting my lip like a scolded child. I could tell he was painting a portrait of my clumsy escape. Edward's mirth curdled into a whisper, his head dropping like a wilted flower. The light-hearted air bled away, replaced by a chill dreading that prickled, a chilling dread that prickled my skin. Was he in some unseen agony? My blood turned to ice as a raw, desperate scream shattered the silence, its echo bouncing off the tombstone like a tortured whisper.
お母さん、どうして私はこうなんですか？どうして私はこんなに苦しいのですか？私も外に出たいです。自由に、ブランドンおじさんのように暮らしたかったんです。そして、クララと一緒に。
Oh. The flower pot slipped from Edward's trembling fingers, crashing to the ground with a thunderous explosion of ceramic shards. The sound, amplified by the stillness of the night, resonated through his own body, echoing the shattering terror in his eyes. His face drained of color like the moonlight leached his blood. He began gathering the ceramic shards, each piece a jagged tear in his heart. His fingers, trembling with a desperate hope, tried to fit them back together, though the pot, like his shattered composure, was beyond repair. Moonlight glinted on the fallen fragments, each glittering tears a testament to the irreparable loss. A strangled sob escaped Edward's lips as he knelt beside the shattered pot, the plant now laid in devastation.
私は一体なぜ呪われたのですか？
What burden? I'm so confused. Like, I'm assuming it's this whole secret thing, but we will know more shortly, I'm sure. Suddenly, I felt my grip loosen. Edward snapped upright at the jarring sound, his gaze darting from the mess of cleaning tools to my ashen face. Tears clung to his cheeks. Before I could think, excuses tumbled from my lips. Edward, I most dreadfully apologize. I left my cleaning implements here, and my voice wobbled, the tremor betraying my composure as I watched Edward stand stiff across from me. He scrubbed at his wet face, the smeared dirt darkening his cheeks like war paint. Before I could reach out, startled by the raw desperation in his eyes, he flinched away. He pushed my hands aside.
大丈夫。
Don't lie, Edward. But your cheeks. His steps often danced towards me, a fleeting promise of closeness, only to retreat into the shadows seconds later. This fickle waltz of nearness and distance wove and unwound, leaving me only tangled in confusion. My voice rumbled low as I clamped his hands firmly in mine. What do you really want from me? Edward blinked, startled, but the mask returned, a bitter smile tugging at the corners of his lips like a vine choked by thorns.
そうだね。いつかは言わなきゃいけないから。
Tell her.
ついてこい、クララ。全部言ってあげるよ。
Are we gonna get answers now? The broken pot stood as a silent accusation, drawing his gaze like a moth to a flame. He pursed his lips, the gesture jam holding back a torrent of regret, anger, or something deeper, before turning away. The silence was heavier than any spoken word. The door clicked shut, Edward varnishing into the gloom without bothering with the candles, or vanishing, rather. The darkness, thick and suffocating, pressed in from every corner. My shoulders slumped. I followed him, each step echoing in the cavernous silence, and settled across the table. Empty whiskey bottles stood guard between us. Did you drink alone?
おじと一緒に飲んだ。
Okay, that's better. His reply, laced with respect, trailed off as he shielded his eyes with a trembling hand. His gesture wasn't defiance, but a desperate bid to shield himself from the scrutiny he couldn't face. Silence settled like a thick fog rolling in, neither of us daring to pierce the tension with the first word. It was Edward, finally, who reached for the lifeline of conversation, his voice hesitant as if walking on a tightrope.
この前も見たよね。屋敷を出られないとこ。
What boundary? Oh, when you collapsed? You mean a physical boundary, okay. Is that what the curse does to you? His answer wasn't spoken, but chiseled in the lines of his smile. It wasn't a joyous curve, but a weary acceptance, a silent agreement that resonated deeper than any words. He shook the empty bottle, a hollow rattle confirming the silence, then sighed, pushing it aside.
酒の勢いでも借りたいのに、よりによって今はないね。
He said, time to share secret sober. Huh.
クララ、僕はこの邸宅でしか住めない。それさえ母がくれたネックレスの力がないとかなわない。
Okay, so the necklace is your lifeline from your mother because there's some curse? He groaned, a guttural sound that scraped from his throat, then clamped his hands over his ears.
でも呪いを押さえつけておくには限界みたい。
Is there something more to it?
亡霊になったお母さんが一日も欠かさず僕をお墓に呼んでいるよ。
Huh, okay.
呪いは徐々に大きくなって邸宅にも影響を与え始める。
But like, is the necklace a thing that was made because of a different curse? Or is the necklace the curse? These are my questions. The final piece snapped into place, revealing a chilling tableau. The monstrous figure that stalked the manor, mirroring Edward's own silhouette, the inexplicable knocks at the door, it all coalesced into a horrifying truth. The curse, its tendrils reaching long and insidious, had woven a nightmarish reality.
呪いさえなければ、呪いさえなければ、僕も普通に暮らせたのに。
It's a constant reminder, okay, something you did, or something that happened that you think you did, or you feel responsible for. What the curse devoured. Did it ask you to choose between you and your mother, or did her mother sacrifice herself? We will know more later, hopefully.
こんなことを毎日考えたりした。
Edward, please don't say that. This isn't your burden to bear alone.
どうして僕のせいじゃないの？僕は母を殺したし、父もまた。
Okay, but again, what is the curse though? It's not something you were born. Like, I'm assuming other people, either your parents or someone else, made decisions that led to a situation that you did not control, though they died because of it, or most likely his mother, at least immediately. It is not your fault. But we'll see. Caged in the manor, Edward's future stretched before him like a barren wasteland. The pendant, a fragile thread of hope, held the key to his survival, but without it, his life would be cruelly cut short. And the gnawing suspicion that the curse had claimed his father too added another layer of unbearable despair to the weight of his imprisonment.
クララ、何か言いたいことがあるだろう。
I do.
お願いだよ。
Okay. A tremor ran through Edward's hand as he reached for mine, but then, with a pained grimace, he pulled away. My outstretched fingers faltered, the echo of his withdrawal resonating in my own limbs. In that silent exchange, we understood the bittersweet truth. Clinging on might inflict a different kind of pain.
僕は君に会えて本当に嬉しかった。
Hmm.
君の言葉に希望を得た。
Okay, so like obviously it seems like getting close to him would not be ideal for either party. Only because the curse would also afflict the other party. Who that's what I'm guessing from this.
君と一緒に住めるなら、こんな地獄みたいな場所で住むのもよく思えてくる。
Uh-huh.
けれど、ある時、君さえも失うんじゃないかと思ったんだ。
Okay, that's fair. The air crackled with anticipation as Edward lifted his head. The world around him seemed to shrink, pushed back by the sheer force of his unwavering will. It was a tangible energy, radiating from him like heat from a star.
クララ、ブランドおじさんはもうすぐ屋敷を出るだろう。
Okay, he seems very determined to convey this. Wait, Edward, that means...
君が望むなら、おじは君を後見人にしてくれるだろう。
Oh. Stop. You are asking me to leave the manor? In the gilded cages of high society, where reputation was currency and lineage a birthright, the notion of Brandon naming a mere servant his heir was a scandal waiting to erupt. Yet the confidence with which Edward spoke of it, the unsettling ease in his voice, hinted at a deeper game being played. My mind spun back to the unsettling dance of their actions. Brandon's inexplicable interest in Edward, a stark contrast to his indifference towards Robert's demise. The curious insistence on meeting me, a veil of forced friendliness masking a keen scrutiny of my every move. His sharp questions, probes into my past disguised as idle curiosity. And Edward, a phantom waltz instructor, spinning me in dizzying circles while murmuring reassurances that felt more like warnings. So you invited Mr. Brandon on purpose. He smiled. The dazzling sunbeam illuminated a truth I hadn't dared to see. He cared. Truly cared. More than I could have ever imagined. Yet the weight of his sacrifice, the sheer magnitude of his efforts shattered my heart anew. It was a crushing paradox, a symphony of joy and anguish. My breath, shallow and erratic, reiterated the chaos within me. How could I embrace this gift, this enormous gesture of his affection, when my world felt like it was falling apart? I don't understand. I can't understand. Oh, why would you do this to me?
君が唯一僕の味方だったからだよ。
Bro, he cares.
今まで君は暗くて寂しい屋敷の中で唯一の光だった。
Okay, my thought is Olivia, like, okay, so is Olivia just protecting the servants, or is she contributing to the sustainment of the curse? She could be doing both, though, but...
息をしているという事実だけで一生を生きていけそうな。
Okay. That's a nice little image. His lips trembled like leaves in a gale. Tears welled up in my eyes. How could I ever truly empathize with him? His pain.
僕が大切にしているみんながここで死んでいった。
Desperation glinted in Edward's eyes as his trembling hand reached for mine. He turned, pleading even before a word was spoken.
だからあなたが死なないように願う、クララ。
Do we get to say if we stay or not? Okay, I'm gonna save. Alright. Well, I'm gonna refuse his offer only because I want to see what happens. I feel like Olivia's up to some shit. So, like, I feel like we can solve the issue of the curse, but we're gonna stay here. And we gotta tell him why we would want to stay here. The sting of tears pricked my eyes, but I met his gaze unflinching. No, I'm going nowhere. I'm staying with you. Tears clung to my lashes, not of grief, but of defiance. The echo of vows beside him at the funeral, beside him always, pulsed in my heart. His escape plan, misplaced love, couldn't clip my spirit's wings. Pride and love soared within me, untamed by his decrees. He saw the storm in my eyes, a tempest refusing to bend, and worry etched lines on his brow.
クララ、君には家族がいる。君にはまだ守る人がいるんだ。
Huh. My family's safety is paramount, Edward, but so is yours.
君も死ぬかもしれない。お母さん、お父さん、それと僕が好きだった人たちのように。
Everyone dies someday, so that won't scare me away.
どうしてそこまで残ろうとするの？
I can't yell as much because it's nighttime here. Oh. Wait. Oh, wait. Why are you so insistent on staying? Okay, hold on.
どうしてそこまで残ろうとするの？
Because I love you, stupid. His surprise mirrored the shattering of the social cage I cast aside. And give me a second. His surprise mirrored the shattering of the social cage I'd cast aside. With a voice that trembled only with the force of my emotions, I confessed again, soaring beyond labels and expectations. I won't let you die alone in this lonely manner.
僕のことが好きだから？
Yes. So don't send me away.
クララ。
He remained a shrouded figure, his stillness more eloquent than any rebuke. Each tick of the clock stretched into an eternity, my scream suspended in the void between us. Shame burned through my cheeks, a harsh counterpoint to the tears I blinked back. Finally, a sigh escaped him, like a leaf caught in the breeze. Then, cautiously, he met my gaze.
本当にいい条件なのに。行かないの？
Leaving? Never. This curse is here, and so am I. I won't rest until I find a way to break it.
本当に？
Really? He blinked, stunned in disbelief. Suppressing the impulse to grin at his bewildered expression, I crossed my arms over my chest, locking eyes with him, exuding newfound confidence. So, how about an apology for attempting to show me the door? Because I would happily accept it now. As I spoke, the wall he'd built around his emotions crumbled. The tears held captive for so long flowed freely.
ごめんね、クララ。
Oh, I thought you were going to say, will you forgive me? I don't know what that is in Japanese. His apologetic smile was all that I needed. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna have to leave this for today, but that was a lot. So, I still think that Livia is a source of the curse, at least in its maintenance, and so we're gonna go figure that out. I think that's my best lead on breaking this curse. Otherwise, you know, I'm sure we'll find out more details that will help us with this endeavor. Kind of crazy though that, like, does he love her though? Like, I mean, it's fine if she does, and like, I get that, but like, does he? Maybe we'll get that confession later. That's my worry right now, is that she stayed and like there was no real need to. But he does love her because he did care to come up with this whole scheme of like making his uncle be her legal guardian if she would take it. So, but to be determined. Again, I've not played this game before, so we will see. But I'm really intrigued. I wish I had more time today so I can continue, but I'll have to keep us all in suspense. But if you like the video, please press the like button, and if you'd like to see more of Under the Thorns, then feel free to subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell for notifications when I post. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. If you've played the game before, let me know what your thoughts were at this point in the game, because I feel like I'm on the right track, but you know, who knows. Anyways, until next time, everyone. Bye.